Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this webinar. I'm pleased to introduce Judd Burden, President and founder of Asphalt Kingdom and Action Seal. Judd started out in the asphalt maintenance business in 1999. By 2004, he had grown his company big enough to sell it, and he moved to the Caribbean. He immediately set to work on his passion project, helping other people to do exactly what he did. He sourced suppliers, built a website, and started consulting with people who wanted to earn their financial freedom too. Judd is going to share his story with you and his step-by-step guide. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll try to get to all of them during this hour. If we don't, we'll follow up with you afterwards. Be sure to stay through to the end when Judd will reveal a boatload of special bonuses for you. And with that, take it away, Judd.
Woo! Man, I am so excited to be here. I literally was just dancing in the room. So excited to be able to be here to share my experiences, my journey, and hopefully help you create a better life for yourself. Hopefully I can contribute a ton of value to you here tonight. And let me tell you, there is a ton of value that's coming and a lot of reality too. So everybody's been asking, a lot of people that I work with, they ask, where did you start? Who are you and where did you come from? And the answer is really, really fun, because when I think back to when I was 19 years old and I started my very own seal coating business, I knew nothing about the industry. I knew absolutely nothing. I'd never seal coated, and I'd never done any crack repair, any patching. I'd never really paid attention to asphalt. And so basically I ended up in a situation where I'm at Buffalo Bill's Chicken Wings, and I'm sitting there applying for a job as a sales position for an asphalt seal coating company in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And the owner of the company walks into Buffalo Bill's and he looks at me and says, you're ready to come on the road and do this? And I'm like, I thought I was there for an interview. We end up on the road, and I immediately knew that asphalt seal coating is hugely in demand, because we were driving in his car and I'm seeing these driveways, driveway after driveway after driveway with yellow ribbons down at the bottom. And I saw how beautiful they looked. The curb appeal was enhanced. They looked really, really great. And then all of a sudden we drive up to his truck, and I'm looking at his truck with the spray system on the back, and I'm looking at two guys working on the driveway. They're sealing cracks and they're spraying asphalt seal coat down. And the clients, the customers out on the front deck looking at the job being done with a big smile. And I'm like, wow, this doesn't look like rocket science. This looks like something that I could actually, learn and get involved with. And so the gentleman, Elan, who is the owner of the company, says, Judd, you're applying for the sales position. Let's go knock on our very first door. Well, I go to the very first door, right next door to the job that we're doing. And I remember it like yesterday, because it was such a gratifying feeling when I actually got the opportunity to speak with the homeowner, about the job that we were doing next door. I'm Judd. I'm here with Grizzly Super Sealant, and we're doing a driveway next door. We're sealing all the cracks to prevent water from getting in, eroding the foundation, causing further damage and potholes. And then we're going to seal coat it with a nice black seal coat to make it look beautiful. And we'll save you a Sunday from getting all full of sealer and so on and so forth. Well, the guy gave us the opportunity to get the job. I closed my very first door that I knocked on. I closed my very first sale, and the feeling was so rewarding, because I knew that I was providing an in-demand service that was going to enhance the aesthetic value of somebody's property. I then knew that was something that I was really going to fall in love with. That's, the reward was quick. It wasn't like I had to invest into something, wait 2 weeks later to get a payment. Literally, the job got done in 20 minutes for a 4-car driveway, cleaned, crack sealed, and delivered, done. So I started to sell, and I started to realize that this business had tremendous potential, because I was knocking on a lot of doors, closing a lot of deals. Long story short is I ended up moving on from that sales position and growing and building and growing my very own asphalt company. It's called Imperial Asphalt. I was 19 years old. It was only 4 months actually after I started with Grizzly that I started my very own business. And I started it from the ground up. I didn't know all of the details because I was still very fresh in the industry. But let me tell you, I went through a lot of learning. There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning curves along the way. Didn't know what equipment to buy, didn't know exactly what materials to use. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. So let me fast track 5 years. 5 years later, I sell my company. We have 5 trucks on the road. We've got staff, door-to-door salespeople, grew the company, sold the company 5 years later, and ended up moving to the Caribbean to chase my dreams of being in the Caribbean. I always, from the time I was a child, wanted to live in the Caribbean. And so I chased my dreams. And along with chasing my dreams, I was chasing another dream too. And it was to help as many people as I possibly could. You see, prior to when I got into seal coating, I was actually an integration aide with autistic children, integrating them into elementary primary schools. And so I've always had this mentality to help people, to be a lighthouse for people, to help people truly achieve things that they want to achieve in their life. So I created asphaltkingdom.com because I knew that there were a lot of people out there that were in my shoes, not knowing the next steps of what to do and how to go about doing it right, of building their very own business. So Asphalt Kingdom was created to do exactly that. Well, that was, we're now going on 15 years, right? Over 15 years of actually building Asphalt Kingdom and helping thousands of people, literally thousands of people, build their own asphalt maintenance company. One of the most rewarding things I've ever felt in my whole entire life, and it's still happening today, being here with you. I cannot wait to do this with you as well. You know, throughout this time, throughout this 22 years of total experience, we've developed over these years a foolproof asphalt maintenance business with the hacks that you need and the cut to the chase learning that you need so that your success is inevitable. A lot of you may have seen our YouTube channel and all the success stories there, but the goal here is to give you what you need to truly be successful. You know, everybody knows that starting your very own business will help you to achieve the freedom and financial success that you really need to create a better life for yourself. The major problem with that is that when you're starting out with this business, there's a very high chance of failure. And starting any business, there's a high chance of failure, especially if you don't have the right connections to the right things. Luckily, I've been there and I've done that. I know exactly what you need to succeed in this industry. Again, you can see all the success stories in YouTube. And what I want to do is I want to share that with you. I've helped thousands of people be successful in this business globally. And there's 3 different parts that I want to share with you. First is you need to have the step-by-step plan that you need to be able to launch and scale your business right out of the gate, right? You need to know exactly what equipment and supplies you need in order to break even right out of the gate as well. We don't want you to be paying back loans forever. We do not want you to be in debt. We want you to get out and start knocking on doors and giving out proposals and growing your business from the ground up the right way. We provide you with the marketing and sales strategies that you need to set you apart from your competition. So if you look on our social media, if you look on YouTube and you look through any of our marketing, you're going to see that we're pretty strong marketers and we're confident in our marketing. We share those secrets with you. You know, there's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google My Business, your website optimization, making sure you're getting local search. Those are all things that we share with you. And that's something that allows you to strive ahead of your competition. I'm going to tell you everything in a minute, in just 1 minute. But first, I need to explain why this business works so well. It's really important that I share this with you. You see, most contractors truly don't understand what it will take to achieve their goals. They really don't have a pulse on that. They go into business totally blind and wonder why they're not successful. So there's 3 parts that I want to share about this, which will hopefully shed some light. Here it is. You need to understand your numbers. First and foremost, you need to understand your numbers. I know a lot of people probably in here right now watching this who have relationships with. I preach numbers all the time. Why do I do that? Because that's what allows you to have the navigational path that you need to succeed. An example, if you're wanting to make $200,000 this year and you're doing $250 driveways, you are not going to make it. You're going to fail. Not that you'll fail, you're just not going to make the $200,000. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're creating a plan that's realistic, a goal, and working backwards from that goal to know what your average job size needs to be. You see, we provide you with those GPS coordinates. There's no more driving in the fog. You'll get exactly what you need in order to succeed. Part 2, you're going to get the right equipment for the job. There are hundreds of products out there and so many supplies, different materials, different kinds of sealers, crack sealers, and so on. And you're not sure which ones will work best. What we're going to do is connect you with the right equipment so you get started off on the right foot. And then you're going to go ahead and reinvest into your business and grow it with equipment that you're going to scale into as you grow your business without burning a hole in your pocket. You're not going to waste any money on tools that you don't need, and you're not going to waste time because you don't have the right things. We're going to make sure you have the right things along this journey. The third thing is you want to put fuel on the fire with your marketing and sales so that you truly need to have fueling your business to fly. There'll be hundreds of more time. You'll be 100 times more visible if you market really, really well. An example would be if you're marketing on Facebook, that's one channel. But if you're marketing on Instagram, that's two channels. Your chances of exposure are higher. If you're marketing now on LinkedIn, chances are higher to reach facility managers, groundskeepers, and perhaps property managers. You see, you need to be able to market really, really well, and we provide you with those marketing tactics that you need to be able to reach those audiences that you need to reach in order to convert more deals. We'll provide you with the sales strategies that you need to convert more deals. Our team even provides help as it relates to how you're going to approach people and speak to them about the value proposition. I'm going to help you literally separate the nice to-dos from the must-dos, just like we did with Corey Johnston on screen right now. Read that quote, everybody. Read that. There's two things that stand out for me. Work hard and determined, and foolproof system. Corey Johnston started his business, top-notch seal coating, 1 year ago. 1 year ago. He's in Maritimes in Eastern Canada. I remember the very first phone call that he put into our company, and I remember starting to build a relationship with him. And for those of you who know, I'm one of the owners of Nasty Good. I sent him a hat because he's a Nasty Good brother living a nasty good life now. He's built an incredible company. He's scaling his company very, very quickly and leaving his current job to come and be, doing the asphalt maintenance full time, right? Think about what that feels like for his family. Think about what it feels like when he looks in the mirror. Take a look at this guy's smile. And I've got a surprise too. I want to show you a little video clip here of a recent webinar that we did.
Any questions I had, you were right there. Anybody at Action Seal, Asphalt Kingdom, so helpful. Like it's companies that I've never ever dealt with customer service and like friendly attitudes, and it's just, it's really rewarding for sure. I would say don't be afraid to take that step. I know it might feel like a lot in the beginning, but if you work hard and you're determined, it's almost like a foolproof system that you guys got going on right now. If you follow your instructions and how to grow yourself and brand yourself and provide excellent work, it's almost like a foolproof system for sure.
That's Corey Johnston, top-notch seal coating. You got to take a look at him. Follow him on Instagram and on Facebook. Go take a look at the before and after photos that he has out and look at the pride that he has in building his very own company and creating the future that he's looking for. What an incredible guy. I strongly recommend that you reach out to him and connect. The next person that I want to mention, he's a dear friend, a brother from another mother, is Alex Lucic, Black and Yellow Pavement. If you look in the top left of that screen right there, that's one of our Sealcoat spray systems in that trailer with his first truck. And he literally, in 10 years, has built a 7-figure company with crews, fleets of trucks. Go on Instagram and take a look at his profile. Take a look at his company. The success is absolutely incredible. I was actually speaking with him about 15 minutes before I came on here, and he's just rocking it. He's doing a 2,000 parking stall parking lot. And let me tell you, I couldn't be more proud. You see, you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start with a nice package that allows you to get off on the right foot. And throughout that process, you have the evolution of the development of you as a seal coater. And so take a look at those images. I mean, those to me really stand out and resonate. Look at the branding. The branding's so powerful. Alex Lucic and our company we did a branding webinar together. You can see it on our YouTube channel. It's extremely powerful and it's had huge impact on our customers with their branding of their business. The next guy that I want to bring up, let me tell you, John Bublich. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, chatting with him when he was first getting started. He's an MMA champ. I mean, I'm looking at the middle photo right there and I'm seeing something so incredible. It's a huge smile. And it's not the equipment behind him that has made this smile. It's him believing in himself and being connected to a foolproof system and the right people with the right support along the way, the YouTube videos. He's doing jobs that are 140,000 square feet already. He bought his package from us in January. That's 5 months ago. And he only got started in April, I believe. But I do have a surprise for you. We actually have John, who's at a baseball game with his son right now. And we're going to bring him on. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys, because to be able to actually have John come on with us is something extremely special. You know, John started out, like I said, he started out just roughly about 2 months ago, and he's speaking about the different, he's doing, I believe, RV parks, and he's doing pothole repair and crack repair, and he's doing a variety of different asphalt maintenance services to really grow and build his business. John, are you there?
Hey, Judd, I'm here, brother. What's going on?
Yes, yes. So good to see you, man. You're at a baseball game right now.
Yeah, so I'm at a baseball game now. I get to go to my kids' baseball games now that I'm self-employed. I get to decide when I work, and aside from the money, that's by far my favorite thing.
Dude, I am so excited, man. When we were speaking yesterday, I was just like, I got to go trek in the mountains with you. I want to see you with your business. Dude, I see your trailer, Wyoming Asphalt Repair. I'm seeing your trailer branded. I'm seeing you rocking these jobs. What gave you the confidence to start a business in a pandemic, brother?
Well, you know, when the pandemic hit, when COVID came, it shut down the oil field. And I remember, I know everybody here probably remembers it when oil went to negative $37 a barrel. And I was one of the thousands of people that lost their job. And I had 13 years into it. And that's like all I'd really ever done was just be in the oil field my entire life. And then I woke up one morning and there's no oil field to go back to. And so I was like, all right, you know, I need to figure this out. And I started hiking. And I took off to the mountains and I went and hiked about 500 miles. And I got home and I was like, I figured it out, wife. And she's like, what? And I said, I'm going to start my own business. She's like, well, what are you going to start? I said, I don't know. So I just started looking up high profit businesses that you can do without training or an education. I saw a link about asphalt repair and I clicked on it. And then the very first one that popped up was Asphalt Kingdom. I'm like, wow, that's a pretty catchy name, you know? So I clicked on it. Man, kind of the rest is history. I fell in love with the packaging. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I saw the first package, like the bronze package. I was like, okay, I can get going with that. And it's like, well, the silver is pretty cool too. And man, this gold package is a whole kit. And so I went for it and bought everything. I bought everything you guys pretty much had. And honestly, I did it all on credit. I pulled out a credit card on it and I bought everything. And it all showed up in the wintertime, so I had some time to put everything together. And then when spring came, it was still too wet to do any kind of crack repair or seal coating. I had a couple pallets of pothole patch. I just started going door to door to hotels, gas stations, everywhere that have potholes and say, hey, I'm John with Wyoming Asphalt Repair. I'm here to fix your potholes. And I couldn't get people to say no. And I got so busy, I was like, man, I need to keep raising my prices. And still no, man, I get maybe like 7 out of 10 yeses. It's a madhouse. And everybody tells me, they're like, I'm so glad you showed up. There's nobody doing this. And we try to call and get a quote from these other people and they don't show up. So if you just answer your phone and you go and talk to people, they're like that one. I like what that guy said. It's almost a foolproof system. You just put in some effort and this stuff grows.
Brother, I can't tell you. I mean, like you really just got started in April, like actually doing it, right? And
yeah,
that's unreal, man. And I'll tell you that watching you and seeing the photos and just seeing you right now with the smile it makes my heart sing, because truly, like, I'll tell everybody on here, like it's for us, it's not about the equipment and supplies. It's about the success and building long-standing relationships and networking and building this fraternity, this brotherhood that we keep pushing forward from a lighthouse perspective. We're so much stronger together, doing things together and working that way, where you can bounce things off of people. How did you get your very first job?
Oh man, my very first job, I was actually rolling up and I was just looking at asphalt parking lots. I had no idea what I was going to do, right? But I bought like a Carhartt yellow reflective jacket, so I looked good. And I just took off and I was just driving around, and I found a parking lot that had these big potholes in it. So I sat there and I looked at the parking lot, and I looked at the potholes and I looked at the front door. And it took me a minute to work up the courage to just go walk in there and start talking. But I sat there in my truck for about 15 minutes and I thought to myself, I'm like, well, John, so you just bought all this equipment. Like, if you don't go in there, you're going to lose everything. So I went in there and I'm like, hey, there's these big potholes. And they're like, I know, and I can't get anyone to fix them. I said, well, hey, here I am. Like, how much you charge to fix it? And then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, I don't know. I said, well, I'll just go out there and get measurements and I'll let you know. And I went out there and I just started measuring, looking stuff up on Google, on Asphalt Kingdom's website. It's very transparent, all the pricing, so it's fairly easy to figure out. I just figured out what the cost of materials were, and I tripled it. And I was like, okay, here we go. I'll just do this. And
Boom.
Everyone just says yes. Boom.
So it's incredible because even during a pandemic and even a recession in 2008, we've watched companies grow like crazy and thrive. It's pretty much recession proof, and it's like pandemic proof. I don't want to say proof, but resistant, let's say. What would be your advice to people watching right now if they're considering starting something like taking a leap? What is your best advice?
My best advice is that I'm real. When I started looking into Asphalt Kingdom and I saw some testimonial videos, in the back of my mind, there's always that doubt. And I was watching, I was like, man, I wonder if this guy's real. Like, is this a paid actor? Like, he's just saying like he changed his life and he's like, he's working for himself and he's so happy. And I'm like, man, is this guy for real? And now I'm that guy that's sitting here talking to you being like, so yeah, that guy was real. I'm real. And the success stories, they really are real. The cost of material versus the profit it's not even comparable. You can sit there and you can barter with people. You'll give them a big quote and they'll be like, I don't know, I'll knock $1,000 off and you're still profiting 15,000. So
right,
it's worth it. It's all real. That's my biggest advice, is just believe it, because it's real.
How much money have you made in the last couple months, honestly?
Well, I've done just under 50,000 in sales since I started about mid-April. and that's about 75% profit.
Guys, this is just awesome. John, man, I know you're there at the baseball game. I can't wait to meet you in person, man, and give you a freaking a flying high five.
Yeah.
And you'll teach me how to do an arm bar too, because I know you're an MMA champ too.
There you go. We'll learn it up. Yeah.
All right, John, I appreciate you tuning in, brother, and sharing with the audience, man. Really appreciate you, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it too, man. And everybody, just listen to Judd. He'll take care of you.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man. See you in a bit. All right. Well, that was awesome, man. And no, like you said, real, right? No rehearsals. He's at the baseball game. He's truly successful. It makes my heart sing. I actually have tears in my eyes when I do this, because this is what I live for. I truly live for watching people grow the hell out of their businesses and be successful, truly life-changing. And he's got 3 children. He's gone through some serious health adversities as well. But just an incredible, incredible human being. And I'm so proud of him, man. And I'd love the opportunity to really be proud of you and to be able to work with you going forward. And I'm going to help you. Our whole team is here to help you. And we have as part of the seal coating startup business package, you get access to the Build Your Own Business Blueprint. I've put literally 22 years into the video training. It's 3 hours of video content. It goes through pricing, it goes through a lot of different things in there, everything that you need to get off on the right foot and ultimately have that trajectory towards your goals. We're going to help you stay on course as well. There's 3 different phases. Phase 1 is where we uncover your goals, and then we work towards creating a plan that you need to succeed. Part 2 is understand what you need to start strong and even break even on your first order. So let's say you're investing into this package, then our goal is to make sure that with that package, you are breaking even as quickly as possible so that you're profiting just like John Bublich, like you heard, right? Making money right away. Phase 3 is create a marketing presence that you need to dominate your competition and lay the foundation for your success. We're going to make sure that you have your Facebook page set up, your business page, your Google My Business, your Instagram business profile, your LinkedIn, your YouTube channel, your website. You're gonna get advised on how to get that set up. We have tons of content around that. You're connected with everything that you need. Plus, we'll even give you a full free year of Pavement Pro proposals so that you know if you're on track or not. There's a whole dashboard in the system. There's a proposal creation tool in there. You can task yourself to do things. Essentially, it's a platform that allows you to have leads in it, proposals, and everything you need in one place to be able to put yourself out there professionally with your audience and hold you on course for that trajectory to hit your goal. So if you want to start a business like this the right way, and you want to follow the foolproof step-by-step process that people are taking right now, just like Alex Lucic, Corey Johnston, John Bublich, you can take advantage of the seal coating business package that we have. I really feel like it's time to invest into yourself. You're here for a reason right now. You may be watching because you're a friend of mine or a client of ours, but for those of you who have not got started, you're here to invest into yourself right now. And I'm willing to be there with you along the way to help you succeed, along with our whole team. Let me put this all together for you in one summary of what you're going to get. When you start this business with us, you're going to get a special coupon for the Seal Coating Startup Business Package. That special coupon, listen carefully and please write it down on a notepad. It's Start Me Up. And you're going to use that at checkout. Okay, we're going to provide you with a link. You're going to use that at checkout. You're going to save $497 off your package. Next, you're going to get an exclusive coupon for the full free year of Pavement Pro. And you're going to get access to the software that has already closed over $27 million worth of proposals. It's a system that will help you set your goals, put you on a track to win each step of the way. Next, you're going to get a steal and use social media templates. You're just going to put your logo on these templates and you're going to be able to use those on your social media platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, like LinkedIn, or any other platforms that you may use. You're going to get access to the Build Your Own Business Blueprint 9-chapter video series. It's 3 hours of video training. And that will provide you with the things that you need to get off on the right foot and to know what you need to really get started with that nice momentum to build your very own company. And last, you're going to get the membership in our monthly Inner Circle calls. The first Thursday of every month, we're going to do a live 1-hour call to help you grow and scale. You're going to bring your best questions to us, and we're going to share the knowledge and our experience over 22 years, along with other members like the gentlemen you just saw in this presentation. This is the inner circle. You want to be connected to somebody. You don't want to be in the fog. You want to be connected to the lighthouse environment. There's no better time to get started right now. Right? You want to get started now. It's June right now, and we're able to get started. It's early season. You still have a ton of time to thrive, and we're excited for you to get started. We're going to move on to some questions and answers now. I know that there's some questions in the chat. I know that there's more questions that have popped up on social media. And Amy's going to go ahead and read out these questions, and I'll do my very best to answer them along the way.
Carl from Facebook asks, what's the going rate per foot these days?
Per square foot, it's a very good question. So if you're doing seal coating, the price per square foot that you're going to be generally charging will vary depending if you're doing residential work or whether you're doing mid-sized commercial work, small or mid-sized commercial work, or large commercial work, bigger scope projects. Residential can be anywhere depending where you are in the country or anywhere in North America. You're going to be running at roughly about 35 to 45 cents a square foot. That's the rate that we're really wanting to instill for the seal coating application. Of course, there's cleaning and crack sealing that you're going to monetize from as well. But generally, we're charging 35 to 45 cents a square foot for a proper seal coat application for residential. But it can go to 22 cents. It can go to 20 cents for more commercial scoped projects. Hopefully that helps answer your question.
John's asking, where do I find the money to get started?
Very good question. I always thought it would be really cool to grow a money tree, but the reality is we've not been able to find that. However, let me tell you, that this isn't that far if you work really hard and you use this system. But the money that you can find, I mean, PayPal has a zero interest for 6-month payback. So you can actually shop right through our website. You can select PayPal as the checkout option. And a lot of the time they'll give you the funding right there. We don't, if you're interested in getting connected with financing, we do have a finance partner that we do work with. But, you know, at the end of the day, do you have family and friends or somebody that might really believe in you? Maybe somebody that you might want to partner with that might have the capital. But I would look at a variety of different channels, and I wouldn't give up after just one no. After all, you're building a business, you're going to get lots of no's. Let's work for the guesses and find a solution to that.
Jacob lives in Goose Bay, Newfoundland, Canada, and he asks, what are shipping costs like?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, we do supply sealer and crack sealing equipment across Canada, and we actually do ship to Newfoundland. But our team would be happy to provide you with quotations on that. I'll tell you, if you're going to work with a company, our company, based upon the volumes that we do ship, we ship a lot of volume in Canada. You're going to get the best freight rates with us, and we will do our very best to make sure that you understand your costs and where you need to be on the actual retail, on the proposal level, in order to make great margins.
Amanda's asking, what does competition look like in the seal coating business?
It's a wonderful question. And for everybody who heard John Bublich, the demand is huge. I mean, right now, the industry is thriving. The asphalt maintenance industry is thriving right now. It's a huge wave that's pushing, and it's going to stick, right? The demand is massive. Asphalt is everywhere, trillions and trillions of square feet, and it needs to be maintained and protected to keep it safe, to keep it protected, to save money, right? To extend its lifespan and to enhance the curb appeal. So as long as it's presented properly and you have the right marketing and the right system and packages to present, then I'll tell you the demand is monstrous. You'll barely be able to keep up if you do this the right way.
Mikey Clarkson is asking, how many square feet will a gallon of sealer do?
It's a great question. It depends on the application. If you're doing brushed or squeegee application, you'll generally get 40, 50 square feet per gallon if you're applying it that way. If you're spraying a single coat, you can get upwards of 100 on newer paved asphalt. However, we do say roughly around that 70 square foot mark is a realistic application for single coat. Yeah.
We've got a follow-up from Carl. He says, some people want sand added. Does your equipment handle sand?
It's a great question. So all of our centrifugal operated units are not compatible with sand loads. You would use raw sealer in any of our centrifugal operated units. When you get into our air operated units, like our AK300s or our Promax 550s, 700s, 1000s, you can absolutely put sand loads in it. For a lot of residential application, let me tell you, majority of people are not adding sand to that application. If a driveway is really, really slick and you want to use one of our centrifugal units for application, you can put a wet coat of sealer down, and you can use a grass seed machine on a fine spritz setting to put a silica sand down on the surface and then put a second coat down on top. And that will prevent you from destroying your pumps with the silica sand. But for the most part, residential seal coating and small commercial, you don't need to be using sand if that aggregate's very exposed on that surface.
Bryant is asking, do you have to start with a full package? Can you start with crack filler and a portable sealer?
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
Do you have to start with a full package, or can you start with crack filler and a portable sealer machine?
Fantastic question. I mean, you know, it's like, you can either start out with the complete package if you have the funding to do that and get off on the right foot right out of the gate and start building a lot faster with a lot more momentum. But if you don't have the capital per se, and you really want to invest into a package that's going to be, less of an investment, you could definitely start with a crack sealing package. Crack sealing is the most in-demand service in the asphalt maintenance industry. The margins are huge. Give you an example. Your cost per foot on rubber is going to run roughly about 14 cents to 16 cents a linear foot. That's delivered right to your door. You're going to charge roughly $1 to $1.20 a linear foot for application. So the margins are massive. To give you an idea, you can make off of one pallet that's going to cost you under a couple grand, you're going to make $15,000 gross off of that one pallet of application. We have clients doing that in 3 days, to give you an idea. Alanette
is asking, does international shipping apply? Can I get a quote?
It's a great question. So we have free shipping throughout all of the United States. In Canada, most products do ship free. If you're an international, we can definitely ship to a freight forwarder of your choice, or we can recommend some, Ocean Air Logistics, etc. And we'll ship directly to your freight forwarder. You would be responsible for the freight from there to the destination outside of the United States or Canada.
Lorena on Facebook is asking, under which weather conditions can the sealing be done?
It's a great question. So Sealcoat application should not be done anything under 55 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to make sure that the water in the sealer is able to evaporate and that the raw ingredients are able to cure. Asphalt sealer can take almost a week to do the proper curing. Now, that's not dry time. Sealer can dry very, very quickly, depending on temperatures, as quick as 4 hours, 6 hours, sometimes 24 hours, but the actual curing takes place for a full week. You want to have temperatures above 55 degrees Fahrenheit for your application for that drying cycle.
Mike is asking, what do you do with waste such as empty barrels, a water box that needs cleaning, etc.?
Well, generally for drums, like if you have leftover drums and stuff, there's definitely places where they recycle that steel, so you can wash it out very well and you can do it that way. We have clients that actually have done some really cool things with school districts. They've actually brought the drums to schools, and once they've cleaned them out, of course, and they take that, by the way, just touching base on the sealer that might be in the drums, leftover remnants, you can put water in it and then use that water for your dilution of your other concentrated sealers. So you're not going to rinse the drum out and dump it on the ground, for example. You'll use that for future dilution of sealer. But those drums, schools love to paint on them. They paint on them and they use them as like trash cans. And that's another thing that you can do. Otherwise, you do need to find a place that recycles the drums locally, and you can do some local Google searches, et cetera, to find that. In regards to totes, let's say, for example, a lot of totes are in demand. People buy totes. A lot of people list them on Craigslist, Kijiji, et cetera, but that hopefully helps answer your question.
In extreme Texas heat, how long does Sealcoat last?
It's a good question. It's not just Texas heat, right? It's any heat. I mean, Arizona too, and any of the southern belts, we get really, really hot. And then, you get really humid conditions as well. The lasting of sealer really depends on your sealer application. It depends if you're doing a 1-coat application, a 2-coat application, how much you're diluting the sealer. But let's just say, theoretically, we're saying generally it's around 2 years before you should do another application. You should seal every 3 years for sure.
Ben is asking, has the starter package price been listed? I logged in a little late.
Yeah, so we have the complete seal coating business package that we're speaking about tonight. And this price is with the discount right here. So this price is with the $497 discount. It's $9,582. So you're sub 10,000. My goal is to really put a package together sub 10 to be able to get you to, start out with all the right equipment that you need to get going, and then have the connections with us and everything else that I've spoken about during this webinar. But sub 10, and a lot of people are paying this package back. Like John Bublich, we'll just say, invested a lot more than that, and he's already paid back his original investment. So he's rocking and rolling.
Does the Sealcoat starter package require heat like tar would?
Sealer does not require heat. No, sealer is just, it comes in its raw state. You do your dilution depending on what kind of sealer you're buying, but that sealer right there is just in a liquid, cold, ambient, what we call an ambient temperature state.
Another question from Facebook. Is there a wrong way to apply the sealer, or is it a pretty easy skill to learn?
It's a really easy skill to learn, but there is a right and wrong way of doing an application. When you're doing your application, if you're doing it by brush or squeegee, you pretty much get a thorough coat. You do leave a lot of sealer on the surface, which is not necessarily that good of a thing if you leave too much, because it can end up flaking and cracking, so to speak. But from a spray application, you want to make sure you're overlapping each fan pattern halfway. If you go on YouTube, we have a really cool video of me doing a driveway in like 7 minutes, I believe, 7 or 8 minutes. And it's a 4-car driveway. And when I'm spraying, I speak about overlapping halfway. You're essentially putting down 2 thin coats in one. You don't want to just overlap a little bit and have kind of that double thin coat on just say 2 or 3 inch of overlap. You really want to overlap halfway, and then halfway again on your second pass.
Julie asks, how do you know how to dilute sealer?
It's a great question. So you would speak with your manufacturer. about the dilution rate. So whatever sealer you're buying, just make sure you're speaking with your manufacturer about that. Make sure you know how to modify that spec.
Josh on Facebook is asking, how do you know if you will need one coat or two?
It's a great question. So asphalt that is very aged and porous, like we all know what black, nice asphalt is, and then we know what gray asphalt is, right? Really gray and oxidized with aggregate that's coming up and gravel and so on. If it's really, really gray and it's starting to really look aged, you really want to do a 2-coat application. On newer surfaces within that 1 to 3 year range, for residential, a lot of the time you can put down 1-coat application. However, putting 2 coats down is always something that will be beneficial for the application. Just realize that you need to charge accordingly for it. You don't want your material costs to double with having, without having your actual price that you've delivered. Let's say as a single coat, you want to make sure you're charging for a double coat. And just to elaborate a little bit on the asphalt is composed of rock, sand, tar, and bitumen. Rock and sand are the solid ingredients, and then you have the bituminous materials that is like the gum, the tar, the flexible component in asphalt. And so when it's first laid, it's in a flexible, malleable state so that when the ground moves, it can actually float on the surface. As time goes on, the sun oxidizes it, the asphalt gets very, very gray in color, and it turns into more of a solid. So when the ground moves, it cracks and you end up with a crack that you need to seal. Otherwise, water gets in, erodes the foundation, creating a pothole or depression that is very unsafe and leads to very costly repairs.
For a new seal coating company, what percentage of new business typically comes from door knocking?
One of the things with door knocking, just make sure that you've spoken with town hall and you have solicitation permits and you have the rights to do that. Don't just go and knock on a bunch of doors and not have something that you've got approval for. But a lot of business comes from door knocking. When I was in the business, going back to when I was 19, 20, 21, I'll tell you the door knocking, we used to literally close 40% of the doors that we knocked on. We knock on 10 doors and close 4 of them. And it usually starts with one demo job. So we'll do residential canvassing. We go through, knock on a door, say we're doing a demo job. We'll cut the price down by 25%. We do the driveway, take some photos of the before and afters, start knocking on the neighbors. We even ask the client, let's say we're doing a driveway for Sally. We say, hey, Sally, do you have any friends in the neighborhood that would like the same job done as a demo? And that live on a cross street around the corner or whatever. Bingo, bango, we lay out our demos and then we literally canvas and we provide problem solving value because we're protecting people's assets, pavement assets, and we're enhancing the aesthetic value of the property as well. And we know how homeowners are. A lot of the time it's keeping up with the Jones. So it turns into a neighborhood seal coating party.
Follow-up question. If you price out a seal coat job and you're going to do 2 coats, how much is the going rate for the second coat? Half of what you charged for the first coat?
It's actually interesting. So a lot of the time we'll just take about 25 to 50% higher. So you just basically take your bid that you're putting out and multiply that by 1.25 or 1.50, and you have your double coat. That's the general application for a double coat. And of course that's a general one. It can be very different if you're getting into large scale commercial work, depending on the application, big squeegee machines, spray bars on the backs of trucks and so on. But for the most part, that's what you would do starting out.
Ben's asking, does concrete get seal coated at any point?
No, don't seal coat concrete. This is asphalt sealer. Make sure one of the things that's allowed me to be really successful in the asphalt maintenance world, and not just when I was doing the work, but also right now, is you have to pick a niche and really stick to it. And, bigger is not always better. I'll just say, you can getting into concrete or window washing or et cetera. It's not something you want to do. I know that that's not quite the answer to your question, but don't seal concrete. And I would not recommend seal coating concrete at all. I would just stick to asphalt.
Mike on YouTube is asking, how do I compete with companies charging 40 cents a foot for hot rubber crack sealing?
Well, it's differentiation, right? It's differentiation. I don't know, we're always working to improve the industry standard. This is why we're doing what we do and why we provide these seal coating business packages, is because we want to have an impact on the industry in a positive way. We want to help people get off on the right foot and grow this industry together, not just beat it down. So somebody who's charging 40 cents a linear foot for crack sealer, I would say, how many linear feet are they crack sealing? You know, if it's 100,000 square feet of crack sealing, they might be quoting 40, 50 cents a linear foot, but their cost is running at 14 to 16 cents a foot. So you gotta, you know, just what are they actually, what kind of job are they doing, so to speak? But how would you compete against them? I would differentiate. I would I'd provide an extremely professional proposal. I would shake their hand. I would send video messages through text message. I would send them, you know, be somebody that's different than somebody who's just out there to make a quick buck, let's say. Be professional, brand yourself, take pride in what you do, and speak to somebody about what it is that you're doing for them from a problem-solving perspective. That's what I would recommend. And you know what? If the client ends up going that route, you tell the client, you know what, I'll always be here for you no matter what. If it's a poor application because they didn't clean the cracks properly to make sure those cracks were free of all dirt and debris so that the crack sealer could bond to the sidewalls, creating a watertight seal. If they didn't do that and the rubber starts peeling out in a year, well, you're going to be there as that person that client will call on for future business.
Juan on Facebook is asking, do you have to power wash to prepare the driveway?
No, you don't need to power wash the driveway. You can absolutely clean off that driveway. Again, I'm speaking very general here, everybody. So like if you arrive to a driveway and the driveway is covered and caked in mud and it's, you know, sat there for 20 years covered in dirt, you may want to rinse that driveway down for sure. But, you know, for the most part, you do not need to pressure wash a driveway whatsoever. You can use stiff bristle brooms, or you can use the bend sink rotary broom in areas that might be a little bit dirty, where, let's say, bird baths on the driveway or parking lot have collected a lot of dirt. You're going to want to scrub that with a broom. You're going to want to use a blower. You're going to want to clean off that surface. But then you're going to go ahead and seal coat right on top of that nice dry asphalt. But you should clean it from all dirt and debris. Just, you don't need to do that with a pressure washer most times.
Jordan from Facebook is asking, have you ever used any of the colors for seal coating? And if so, is there a demand for it?
I've never used color seal coats whatsoever. I've only used black seal coat. I've never sold it. I've never really tried it, to be honest. So I've got to be honest with my answers.
We've got someone saying, I'm starting out by hand, no overhead and no credit. Would I still charge the same as with using a sprayer?
Your time is money, right? So at the end of the day, if you've got competition, local competition that's coming in and they're able to do it faster because they have spray rigs and so on, they might charge less per square foot. But I would say that, you know, you got to value your time, right? We're limited. There's only a certain amount of time left that we're going to live this life. And you got to make the most out of it. So I would say, you know, if you're doing it by hand, you wouldn't want to charge accordingly. So you might not charge 35 cents or 45 cents a square foot. You might charge 50 cents, 55 cents. And you might do that for a little while. But here's the thing. You could technically do it for the same price as somebody who's spraying, and build that nest egg and prepare that envelope to invest into a package that's right for you so that you can really start to grow that business at a faster rate.
Benny from YouTube asks, what if the driveway has pollen on it?
It's a great question. Pollen, moss, all kinds of stuff. Again, you got to clean off that surface really, really thoroughly. You want to make sure that, you know, you don't have pollen or moss on the surface. We have a great piece of equipment on our website. We actually have two different pieces of equipment. They're hydraulic rotary brooms, gas powered, and you can literally, it has a big head on it, big sweeper head, and you can literally scrub off that driveway or parking lot. Lance Phillips is using the Bensink, and he swears by it. Lance Phillips, we also help get involved with the business. He started with a Powerliner 850 striping machine, and now he's got multiple rigs, big warehouses, but he swears by this Bensink rotary broom, and that's what I would use to clean, you know, areas that are really, you know, really tough and rough, dirty areas, and then clean it, prep it for seal coating.
We have another question. One of my concerns to getting started is I'm worried about the customer. When approached with the quote, will it just be a reminder to call back the person who seal coated it the last time?
It's a great question. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we can be scared of everything, but you got to overcome the fear. You know, adversity and challenge in front of you. I would just say, I'm not scared. I'm going to build this thing, and you know what? There's going to be another customer that won't have that problem. So just move, do your best to provide value, solve their problems, be professional, and show them that you're different. Show them that you're the best. Brand yourself well, speak to them, communicate, articulate well. Make sure that your social media platforms are set up. Make sure that all these pieces, as we've said in this start your own business package, that you need to really get going on the right foot. Have that confidence and that self-worth to go out there and really dominate fear. I'm going to speak about fear in a second. Actually, it's really cool. We've got an incredible quote that we found this morning that I want to share with you guys.
Will the starter pack fit in an F-150 pickup?
Sure will. Absolutely. F-150 or larger. Absolutely. Dodge Ram 1500 and up. Absolutely. Yep.
Do you provide proposals to obtain financing?
It's a great question. We do not provide the actual proposals, but there's all kinds of stuff out on Google that you can search. As for the financing side of it, you don't really need, with the finance partners that we work with, you really don't need to have that whole proposal set up. But we can help you with the financing connections, and PayPal. Honestly, you don't need to have that either. If your credit's good, you can go right through literally through our shopping cart, through that link, add it to your cart, check out with that start your own business package. Right, choose PayPal as your payment selection, and you can get the 6-month interest free. So a lot of people can pay that back. Well, most people are paying back their packages within a month or two.
How does the crack filler work on very big cracks? Where I live, the parking lots are all in horrible shape.
Yeah, it's a great question. So, crack filler is good for up to a certain width. Once you start getting into 3/4 inch or 1 inch widths, you have to do multiple applications so you don't get that depression where the crack filler settles. And so crack filler really should be used for nothing larger than an inch wide maximum for rubber crack sealer. There is products called mastics. Mastics are used for big joints and seams and even depressions and small potholes. Mastics are a whole different beast of a machine, though. It's not like direct fire rubber crack sealer. You need a mastic kettle. They're extremely costly from an investment perspective. And then you need an applicator to put the mastic down. So yeah, to answer your question, about an inch wide for rubber, max.
What is a good way to clean up accidental overspray after it dries?
It's a good question. So, it depends what it's on. And so let me start before it dries. You should try to prevent it, right? There's reactive and then there's proactive. So what I would say is have a 5-gallon pail of water with big sponges available to you, and make sure that you have that anytime you're in a spraying or application environment and you have access to those pails of water and clean water. And then you'll go ahead and just, while it's wet, you're going to wipe it off right away and you have no issue. But if it dries right away, then you are going to deal with something that's no fun to get off. You can use pressure washers, mineral spirits on concrete, but it's the best thing to do, honestly, is to not have it happen in the first place. Some people are using bug tar, goof off. There's a variety of different products out there. Feel free to reach out to us through our Contact Us page, though, and we're happy to share some of the products that will work well for you.
We have lots more questions. Maybe people could drop their email in the chat, and we'll close with one more question.
Absolutely. Please do drop your email address in the chat, and feel free to reach out to us at any time. In regards to dropping your email in the chat, what we'll do is we'll reach out to you, thanking you for the opportunity to present to you, but also to be able to connect and advise you throughout this process.
Last question then. How do you try and get past the part about not having experience in what we are about to get started?
I go back to when I first started, literally when we started this webinar together. And I remember standing there and looking at this driveway and knowing that this was not going to be rocket science. And what it took was me making the decision to just do it. And I'm here, and I'm like, my life was transformed from the decision to dominate the fear and that hurdle in front of me of making the choice to create a better future for myself. All the case studies, all the webinars, all the interviews on YouTube that we've done, the national pavement expos that we go to, and we're hugging clients and seeing them thrive. There's so many names that I want to share right now with everybody about how they've grown businesses, and they made that same decision I made that one day, which was to just do it. Fear is something that is a very challenging thing, and it can be overcome when you decide to overcome it. So I think as a final quote to wrap things up, and it's been so much fun here with you guys, and I really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. Here's the quote from Les Brown. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. It's time to live your dream. It's time, whatever that may be. If it's not this business package, but it's chase your dream and do something incredible, to look in that mirror at the end of the day and be proud of what you've built and created. Just couldn't be more excited for all of you, for each one of you. I really hope that we get the opportunity to help you build a thriving business. And remember that seal coating business package is right there. There is that coupon as well. Start me up. And we look forward to getting you started the right way. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Feel free to reach out anytime. We're here for you. Thank you, guys.